Imagine that you are at the helm of a huge ship, moving forward at high speed. How is it possible for a single person to change the course of something so massive? To change the ship's course, you move a steering wheel that operates a rudder, which then turns the ship. But the rudder itself can be enormous, perhaps even 10 stories tall on some ocean liners. So what moves the rudder? A tiny second rudder attached to the big rudder called a trim tab. Through the marvels of engineering, when the trim tab swings to one side, it creates just enough vacuum that it pulls the big rudder around. The trim tab is tiny compared to the size and weight of the ship, yet it is the trim tab that determines the ship's course. Sometimes it may seem that making changes in our lives or in our jobs is like turning a huge ship. But the principle of the trim tab, that small changes can have a big impact, applies to many areas. I'm reminded of a large metropolitan city that was looking for a big solution to a big problem. New York City was plagued with crime. To solve the problem, city officials thought they had to do something big, something heroic, like tackle inequality or overhaul social services. Instead, they began to think differently. What if they focused on smaller crimes? Crimes that were signaling disorder in the city and inviting more serious crime. So they turned their attention to small violations occurring in the subway system. They invented new ways to quickly clean graffiti off of the subway cars. If a car could not be cleaned before it turned around, it was removed from service. They also found that nearly 170,000 people a day were jumping the gates and not paying fares. By keeping subways clean and cracking down on these small violations, the city reduced felonies on subways by 75%. As they applied the same principle in different areas throughout the city, felonies were cut in half and murders dropped by 2/3. This illustration shows how small things can have a big impact. But the trim tab principle also applies to people, particularly at work. Far too many people are not engaged in their work. They are neither fulfilled nor excited. Most of all, they feel powerless to change anything, and they blame it on the organization or their boss or their lack of authority. In truth, you are the creative force of your own job and life. No matter what role you play, your contribution can make a difference. You can become a trim tab. How? Simply by focusing on what you can do, even if it's outside of your job description, and then make small adjustments and improvements along the way. When Madeline Cartwright became the principal of an inner-city elementary school, she found a desperate situation: a filthy building, a discouraged teaching staff, apathetic parents, and children who were just trying to survive in an unbearable environment. Madeline had many reasons to be discouraged, even to think that change would be impossible. One day, she pulled aside the custodian to talk about the stench that permeated the hallway from the boys' bathroom.
Clean this bathroom, Mrs. Cartwright.
Well, it looks clean.
The smell is coming from the floor. There's 10 years of urine in the concrete. It won't come out.
I need a bucket of hot water and some brushes.
Hot water and brushes?
You heard me.
Well, smell anything?
No.
Well, it does come out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Word spread quickly about the new principal's action that day. Students and faculty alike, even parents were talking. Even out in the community they talked. If she had wanted to send a strong signal that the school was changing, she had found it. She also noticed that day after day some children came to school in the same dirty clothes. She believed that if children felt dirty and uncared for, it would impact their ability to learn. So she organized a fundraiser to purchase a washer and dryer, and the community helped collect spare clothing. If children had dirty clothes, they could change into the extra clothes and go to class. Teachers and other volunteers would wash the clothes, and when the children came back in the afternoon, their own clothes were fresh and folded. She continued to apply the trim tab principle in many ways. Soon everyone was involved and engaged in the new school spirit. A culture of doing what it takes emerged among the faculty and staff. Together they faced head-on and overcame the challenges that were preventing children from learning. They provided food, took care of medical needs, and even challenged the rampant drug dealing in the neighborhood.
What's wrong?
The school became a safe haven for the children. Madeline Cartwright knew the children could learn if their basic needs were met, and they were expected to elevate their minds. The entire community responded. Academic achievement improved measurably, and the school was changed. Remember, the secret to the big is the small. Becoming a trim tab starts with identifying a need and then doing something about it. You don't have to have the most exciting, thrilling, high-profile job in order to be successful or to love your work. Each and every day, you are faced with moments of choice, moments where you can choose to be a trim tab. You can work outside your job description, but within your circle of influence, and have tremendous impact.